The massive alien fleet moved through space like a dark cloud covering the stars. 200 warships of different shapes and sizes traveled together, their hulls gleaming under the distant starlight. At the front of the formation, Admiral Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the scanner displays with satisfaction. His forearms crossed behind his back as his yellow eyes studied the readings. "We have crossed into the restricted zone, Admiral," reported his navigation officer. The alien's voice carried a hint of concern, but Veltar waved it away with one of his hands. "Let the primitive humans try to stop us," Veltar said with a laugh that sounded like grinding metal. "They are nothing but a young species that got lucky with some old technology. Today we will show the galaxy that no one can keep the hegemony from going where we please." Far ahead of the alien fleet, a single human ship drifted quietly in space. The vessel was small compared to the massive alien warships, looking almost like a tiny insect next to giant beasts. On the bridge of the ship called Defiance, Commander Jiho sat in his captain's chair, watching his screens carefully. His dark eyes were calm and focused as numbers and data flowed across the displays. "Sir, we have 200 alien vessels approaching our position," reported Lieutenant Hana from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over her controls as she gathered more information. "They are maintaining attack formation and showing no signs of slowing down." Jiho nodded slowly. He had been expecting this day for a long time. All human commanders had trained for this moment. "Open a communication channel to the alien fleet," he ordered in a steady voice. "Send it on all frequencies so there is no chance they can claim they did not hear us." The communication system activated with a soft beep. Jiho stood up from his chair and straightened his uniform. When he spoke, his voice was clear and strong, carrying the weight of 50 years of human preparation. "Unknown vessels, this is Commander Jiho of the Human Defense Force. You have entered human territory without authorization. This space has been restricted by Galactic Treaty for 50 years. You must reverse course immediately and leave this area, or you will face the consequences." On the alien flagship, the bridge crew burst into laughter when they heard the human message. The sound echoed through the command center like the chattering of excited animals. Admiral Veltar's mouth opened wide, showing rows of sharp teeth, as he joined in the amusement. "Did you hear that?" Veltar asked his officers. "One small ship is threatening our entire fleet. These humans must be even more foolish than we thought." The alien communications officer, a thin creature with purple skin, wiped tears from his eyes. "Should we respond to their pathetic warning, Admiral?" "Yes," Veltar said, still chuckling. "Tell them that the hegemony goes where it pleases. No one gives orders to us, especially not some backward species that barely knows how to travel between stars." Back on the Defiance, Jiho listened to the alien response with no change in his expression. He had heard similar words from many species over the years. They all made the same mistake. They all thought humans were weak and stupid. "Sir, should we withdraw and call for backup?" asked Lieutenant Hana. She looked worried as she watched the alien fleet growing larger on her screens. "No," Jiho said calmly. "We follow protocol. They have been given their first warning. Now we give them their second and final warning. It is the human way." Captain Minho, who commanded the escort ship Retribution, appeared on the main screen. His face was serious but determined. "Jiho, my friend, they clearly do not understand who they are dealing with. Perhaps it is time to show them why humans do not make empty threats." Jiho smiled slightly. Minho had always been eager to demonstrate human capabilities to aliens who thought they were superior. "Patience, Minho. First we give them one more chance. Our ancestors always believed in being fair, even to those who do not deserve it." Commander Jiho activated the communication system again. This time his voice carried a warning that made even his own crew stand a little straighter. "Alien fleet, you have ignored our first warning. This is your final chance to leave human territory peacefully. We are authorized to use any means necessary to protect our space. Turn around now or accept responsibility for what happens next." Admiral Veltar laughed even harder when he heard the second warning. "They still think they can frighten us. One tiny ship against our mighty fleet. These humans must be completely insane." The alien fleet continued moving forward, deeper into human space. Their scanners swept the area, looking for military bases, weapons platforms, and defensive positions. The readings showed very little. A few small outposts, some mining operations, and scattered patrol ships. Nothing that could threaten a force of their size. "Admiral," reported the scanning officer, "we are detecting minimal human presence in this sector. A few civilian installations and what appears to be some kind of mining operation in the asteroid. Belt ahead. No major military facilities are showing on our sensors." Veltar nodded with satisfaction. "Excellent. These humans have left their territory practically undefended. We will take whatever we want, and there is nothing they can do to stop us." What the aliens did not know was that every one of their ships was being carefully tracked by hidden sensors. Scattered throughout human space, every communication they sent was being intercepted and decoded. Every weapon they carried was being analyzed and compared to human defensive systems. Deep in a secret facility on a nearby moon, General Tae-hyun watched the alien fleet on massive display screens. Around him, dozens of human officers worked at their stations, monitoring every detail of the alien invasion. The general's face showed no emotion as he watched the enemy ships move deeper into human territory. "Sir," said Colonel Na-young from her position at the tactical station, "the alien fleet has ignored both warnings and continues to advance. They appear to be heading for the Kepler mining installation." General Tae-hyun nodded. Everything was going exactly as they had planned for so many years. "Good! Signal all units to prepare for uninvited guests protocol. The waiting is finally over." The alien fleet moved forward through space, completely unaware that they were walking into the most sophisticated trap ever created. Behind them, the small human patrol ships followed at a safe distance, ready to cut off any escape route. Ahead of them, what appeared to be helpless human civilians prepared to show the galaxy why no one enters human territory uninvited. The war that would change the galaxy forever was about to begin. Deep inside the Human Defense Command Center, red warning lights flashed across every screen and console. The massive underground facility, built into the rock beneath Earth's largest mountain, hummed with activity as hundreds of officers moved quickly between their stations. Lieutenant Hana sat at her communications post, her fingers flying over the controls as she processed incoming reports from across human space. "General Tae-hyun to the command center immediately," she announced, over the facility's speaker system. "All department heads report for emergency briefing. This is not a drill." Within minutes, General Tae-hyun strode into the command center, his boots clicking against the metal floor. He was a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Behind him walked his senior staff, including Dr. Yoonji, the chief, scientist who had spent 20 years studying alien species, and Colonel So-young, who controlled the defense systems throughout human territory. "Report," General Tae-hyun said as he took his position at the central command station. Multiple screens around him showed the alien fleet's position, their ship types, and their current course through human space. "Sir, we have 200 alien vessels that have crossed into restricted space," Lieutenant Hana reported. "The fleet consists of 3 different species working together. Our identification systems recognize them as the Kethmori, the Zephyrians, and the Mindari Collective." Dr. Yoonji stepped forward, carrying a data pad filled with information about the alien species. She had been waiting for this moment for most of her career. "General, I have complete profiles on all 3 species. The Kethmori are a warrior race that believes strength is the only thing that matters. They fight with heavy weapons and prefer direct attacks. The Zephyrians consider themselves the smartest species in the galaxy. They rely on advanced technology and energy weapons. The Mindari are a collective mind species that can communicate with thoughts instead of words. General Tae-hyun studied the information on his screens. Each alien species had different strengths and weaknesses, but they all shared one important trait. They all believed they were superior to humans. This mistake would cost them everything. "What do our intelligence reports tell us about their intentions?" the general asked. Commander Dong-hyun, who ran the intelligence division, activated a large display that showed the alien fleet's movements. "Sir, their communications indicate they plan to demonstrate galactic superiority by defeating what they call primitive humans. They believe we are a young species that got lucky with some ancient technology. They have no idea what they are really facing." General Tae-hyun allowed himself a small smile. 50 years of careful planning were about to pay off. 50 years of letting other species think humans were weak and backward. 50 years of preparation for exactly this moment. "Excellent. Signal all units to activate the uninvited guests protocol. I want every commander at their assigned positions within the hour." He turned to address his staff directly. "Dong-hyun, take the outer perimeter. Defense grid. Make sure nothing gets past you without permission. So-young, activate all hidden installations in the asteroid belt. Show our guests what real defensive systems look like. Kyung-min, bring the planetary shields online and prepare the surface-to-space batteries." Each officer saluted and moved quickly to their stations. They had practiced this scenario thousands of times, but now it was real. The alien fleet continued moving through human space, completely unaware that every step brought them deeper into the most sophisticated military trap in galactic history. In a different section of the command center, Captain Jae-won prepared his special assignment. His ship, the Ghost Protocol, was the most advanced stealth vessel ever built by humans. It could move through space completely invisible to any known scanning technology. For the past 6 months, he had been following alien scout ships and learning everything about their capabilities. "Jae-won," General Tae-hyun said over the communication system, "I want you to shadow that fleet. Get as close as you can and document everything. Their weapons, their formations, their communication methods. We need to know exactly what we are dealing with." "Understood, sir," Captain Jae-won replied. "The Ghost Protocol is already moving into position. They will never know we are there." The alien fleet continued its advance through human territory, deploying small scanning probes to gather intelligence about human defenses. What they found seemed to confirm their beliefs about human weakness. The probes detected only a few small military outposts, some civilian mining operations, and scattered patrol ships. Nothing that could threaten a fleet of their size and power. "Admiral," Veltar studied the probe reports with satisfaction. "Just as I expected," he told his officers. "These humans have barely any defenses in their own territory. They must have put everything they own into guarding their home planet, leaving the rest of their space wide open." What the Admiral did not know was that every probe he sent out was being carefully tracked by human sensors. The information his scanners collected was not real. It was carefully designed false data, created by human computers to make the alien fleet believe they were facing weak opposition. Dr. Yoonji monitored the alien probe activity from her laboratory deep in the command center. Around her, screens showed the exact positions of every alien scanning device. "General, the aliens are gathering intelligence just as we predicted. Our deception systems are feeding them exactly what we want them to see." "Good," General Tae-hyun replied. "How long before they reach the Kepler installation?" Commander Kyung-min checked his tactical display. "At their current speed, they will arrive at the mining station in approximately 4 hours. All defensive systems are ready and waiting for your command." General Tae-hyun nodded. The Kepler installation was the perfect bait for the alien fleet. It appeared to be a simple civilian mining operation with minimal defenses. In reality, it was one of the most heavily fortified positions in human space, disguised to look like an easy target. Captain Seokjin, who commanded the Kepler installation, appeared on the main communication screen. He was a serious man with steady eyes and a calm manner that never changed, even under pressure. "General, my people are ready. We have maintained the civilian appearance perfectly. The aliens will see exactly what we want them to see." "Excellent, Seokjin. Remember, wait for my signal before revealing your true capabilities. We want them to commit fully to the attack before they discover their mistake." Throughout human territory, other commanders prepared their forces for the coming battle. Fleet. Admiral Inwoo positioned his ships for a pincer movement that would trap the alien fleet once they attacked the mining station. Colonel Nayoung readied her fighter squadrons in hidden bases throughout the asteroid belt. Major Chang Ho prepared his marine units for boarding actions against alien vessels. Every human involved in the operation knew their role perfectly. They had trained for this day since childhood, learning about alien capabilities and human advantages. They understood that this battle would determine humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The alien fleet continued its advance, confident in their overwhelming numerical superiority. 200 advanced warships against what appeared to be a handful of human defenders. The aliens expected easy victory and quick surrender. They had no idea they were about to face the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. The alien scanning probes had been working for hours, sending detailed information back to Admiral Veltar's flagship. The data painted a picture that made the alien commander very happy. Deep in the asteroid belt ahead of them, the probes had found what appeared to be a perfect target for their first demonstration of power. "Admiral," reported the scanning officer, his voice excited with discovery, "we have located a human mining operation in the Kepler belt. The facility appears to be lightly defended with only basic shields and a few small weapon platforms. Our scans show approximately 200 human civilians working there." Admiral Veltar studied the probe data on his main screen. The mining installation looked exactly like what he had expected from primitive humans. Simple buildings attached to several large asteroids, basic mining equipment, and minimal defenses. It would be the perfect place to show the galaxy what happened to those who tried to restrict hegemony movement. "Excellent," Veltar said, his sharp teeth gleaming as he smiled. "Signal the fleet to change course for the mining station. We will destroy this facility and use the human survivors to send a message to their government. Perhaps after they see what we can do, they will be more reasonable about opening their territory to proper civilized species." What Admiral Veltar and his fleet did not know was that they were looking at the most sophisticated military deception in galactic history. The Kepler installation had been designed specifically to attract exactly this kind of attack. Every building, every piece of equipment, every energy reading had been carefully planned to create the illusion of a helpless civilian target. Commander Seokjin stood in the real command center of the Kepler installation, buried deep inside the largest asteroid. Around him, his officers monitored dozens of screens showing the approaching alien fleet. The civilian miners working on the surface were actually elite human marines in disguise, and the basic mining equipment was some of the most advanced military technology ever created. "Sir," reported Engineer Jisoo from her station, "all hidden weapon systems are online and ready. The aliens are following the exact approach pattern we predicted. They will be in optimal firing position in 37 minutes. Seokjin nodded. Everything was proceeding perfectly. For 5 years, he and his team had maintained the illusion that Kepler was nothing more than a simple mining operation. They had played their roles so well that even other human civilians believed the installation was exactly what it appeared to be. "What is the status of our defensive systems?" Seokjin asked. "All asteroid-mounted railgun batteries are charged and targeted," Jisoo replied. "The missile launchers are loaded with our latest interceptor warheads. The shield generators are ready to activate at full power. The mining equipment transformation systems are standing by for your command." Mining equipment that the aliens had seen on their scans was actually the most advanced military hardware in human space. Massive drilling machines were really disguised railgun cannons capable of punching through any known armor. Ore processors were actually missile manufacturing and launching systems. Even the simple cargo containers were really advanced defensive shield generators. In the Human Defense Command Center, General Tae-hyun watched the alien fleets approach with satisfaction. On his screens, he could see Admiral In-woo's battle groups moving into position for the pincer movement. The aliens were so focused on the helpless mining station that they had no idea they were being surrounded. "General," reported Fleet Commander Yuna from her position aboard the heavy cruiser Determination, "all ships are in position for the encirclement maneuver. The aliens will have no escape route once they commit to attacking the Kepler installation." "Good," General Tae-hyun replied. "Remember, wait for the aliens to fire the first shot. We want them to be the aggressors in this conflict. When the Galactic community reviews what happened here, they need to see clearly that the aliens started this war." Colonel Na-young's fighter squadrons were hidden in small caves and artificial structures throughout the asteroid belt. Her pilots had been waiting, in their cockpits for hours, ready to launch at a moment's notice. The fighters themselves were equipped with technology that made them faster and more maneuverable than anything the aliens had ever encountered. "All squadrons report ready for immediate launch," Na-young said over the communication system. "The aliens will not expect fighter attacks from multiple directions simultaneously." Major Chang-ho prepared his Marine boarding teams for a different kind of action. Human intelligence had identified several alien command ships that would be valuable to capture intact. The information and technology they contained would be worth more than destroying them in battle. "Teams Alpha through Delta are ready for boarding operations," Chang-ho reported. "Our new personal armor and weapons have been tested against alien technology. We have significant advantages in individual combat capability." Back on the alien flagship, Admiral Veltar made his final preparations for the attack on the mining station. He divided his fleet into 3 attack groups, each led by one of the allied species. The Kethmori would attack from the front with their heavy weapons. The Zephyrians would use their advanced energy cannons to destroy the station's defenses. The Mindari would coordinate the assault with their collective mental communication. "This will be a perfect demonstration," Veltar told his senior officers. "The humans will see the power of 3 species working together, and they will understand that resistance is hopeless. After we destroy this mining facility, they will open their territory to us willingly." The alien fleet moved into attack formation, completely unaware that every movement was being tracked and analyzed by human computers. Their weapon systems, their shield frequencies, their communication protocols, everything was being recorded for use against them. Commander Seok-jin watched the aliens approach and felt a mixture of anticipation and sadness. These alien species had no idea what they were really facing. They thought they were attacking a defenseless human outpost, but they were actually about to encounter the full military might of humanity for the first time. "All stations, prepare for combat," Seok-jin announced to his hidden garrison. "The enemy fleet is moving into final attack position. In a few minutes, they will learn why no one attacks human civilians without consequences." Engineer Jisoo made final checks on all systems. The transformation from mining station to military fortress would happen in seconds once the aliens opened. Fire. The surprise would be complete and devastating. "Sir, should we give them one final warning?" asked Lieutenant Hyun-woo from the communication station. "No," Seok-jin replied. "They have already been warned twice by Commander Jiho. They chose to ignore those warnings and continue their aggressive actions. Now they will face the results of their choices." The alien fleet reached optimal firing range and began to spread out for the attack. Admiral Veltar gave his final orders to the combined fleet. In a few moments, the aliens would open fire on what they believed was a helpless human mining facility. They were about to discover that humans did not build helpless facilities anywhere in their territory. The trap was set, and the aliens were walking directly into it. Admiral Veltar raised one of his forearms and pointed at the human mining station displayed on his main screen. The facility looked small and defenseless against his massive fleet. Around him, the bridge crew waited for his command to begin. What they believed would be an easy victory. "All ships commence attack," Veltar ordered. Show these primitive humans the price of defying the hegemony. The alien fleet opened fire simultaneously. Hundreds of energy beams, plasma bolts, and missile streams erupted from the 200 warships. The space around the Kepler installation filled with deadly light as enough firepower to destroy a small moon struck the human position. For a few seconds, the aliens celebrated. Their weapons had hit the target perfectly. Surely nothing could survive such massive destruction. But as the energy discharges faded and the explosion clouds cleared, something impossible appeared on their screens. The human mining station was still there, completely undamaged. What? Admiral Veltar stared at his display in confusion. How did they survive that attack? Our weapons should have vaporized that entire facility. What the aliens saw next made them question everything they thought they knew about human technology. The simple mining buildings began to change, transforming like living creatures. Drilling equipment unfolded into massive weapon barrels. Ore processors opened to reveal missile launchers. The entire asteroid belt around the station lit up with defensive installations that had been completely invisible moments before. Commander, Seokjin smiled as he watched his disguised fortress reveal its true nature. All weapons, return fire, he ordered calmly. Show our guests what real military technology looks like. The response was immediate and devastating. Railgun batteries that had been hidden inside asteroids opened fire with projectiles moving at near light speed. The alien ship's shields, which had seemed so powerful moments before, collapsed like soap bubbles. Advanced human missiles, guided by artificial intelligence systems, swarmed toward the alien fleet with perfect accuracy. In the first 30 seconds of human counterattack, 15 alien ships were completely destroyed. 20 more suffered critical damage and began falling out of formation. The aliens who had expected easy victory found themselves fighting for survival against an enemy they had completely underestimated. Impossible! Admiral Veltar shouted as he watched his fleet take devastating losses. These readings must be wrong! Humans cannot have weapons this advanced. But the readings were accurate. Human technology had surpassed anything in known galactic civilization. While other species had spent centuries fighting each other and staying at roughly the same technological level, humans had spent 50 years in isolation, advancing their science and engineering far beyond what anyone thought possible. Captain Wu Jin appeared on the main screen of the Human Defense Command Center. His ship, the Inevitable, led a group of human battle cruisers that had been waiting in hidden positions throughout the asteroid belt. General Taehyun, we are beginning. The pincer movement. The aliens are trapped between our forces and the Kepler installation. Excellent, General Taehyun replied. Proceed with the demonstration. Show them what happens when someone attacks human territory without permission. The Inevitable and its escort ships revealed themselves from their hiding places among the asteroids. The human warships were sleek and powerful, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor that made alien weapons practically useless. As they moved into attack formation, they demonstrated speed and maneuverability that the aliens had never seen before. Captain Wu Jin directed his fleet with tactical brilliance that left the alien commanders speechless. Human ships moved in. Perfect coordination, each vessel covering the others while delivering precise attacks that destroyed alien ships with minimal wasted firepower. The aliens' numerical advantage became meaningless as they were outmaneuvered and outgunned at every turn. Dr. Mijin monitored the battle from her scientific station in the command center. Her screens showed detailed analysis of the combat, comparing human and alien capabilities in real time. General, our weapons are penetrating alien shields and armor with 60% greater efficiency than our models predicted. Their defensive systems are even weaker than we thought. What about their offensive capabilities? General Taehyun asked. Their weapons are having minimal effect on our ships, Dr. Mijin reported. Our shield technology is approximately 200 years more advanced than anything they possess. They literally cannot hurt us with their current armament. The battle in space was completely one-sided, but the aliens were about to discover that human superiority extended beyond just ships and weapons. Commander Sang-hyuk led elite human marines in boarding operations against damaged alien vessels. These marines wore powered armor that made them faster and stronger than any alien species, and they carried weapons that could cut through alien armor like paper. Boarding Team Alpha has secured the Keth Mori command ship, Sang-hyuk reported, as his marines moved through the alien vessel. Resistance was minimal. The aliens were not prepared for close combat against human forces. The alien crew of the Keth Mori ship fought bravely, but they were outmatched in every way. Human marines moved through the ship's corridors with speed and precision that seemed impossible. Their weapons were more accurate, their armor was stronger, and their tactics were superior to anything the aliens had encountered. "How are they so fast?" one Keth Mori warrior asked his commander as human marines systematically captured their ship. "They move, like they know exactly where we are going to be before we get there." The alien commander had no answer. Human technology included advanced sensors that could track enemy movements through solid walls, and human tactical computers could predict alien actions with perfect accuracy. The boarding operation was over in minutes, with the entire alien crew captured alive. Similar boarding actions took place throughout the alien fleet. Human marines captured ship after ship, taking prisoners and gathering intelligence about alien technology and military capabilities. The aliens discovered that humans were not only technologically superior, but also physically more capable than any species they had ever encountered. Admiral Veltar watched his fleet being systematically destroyed and captured with growing horror. Of his original 200 ships, only about 70 remained combat effective, and those were scattered and disorganized. The humans had achieved complete tactical control of the battle in less than an hour. "Admiral," his communications officer reported with a trembling voice, "we are receiving surrender demands from multiple human commanders. They want us to power down our weapons and prepare for boarding." Veltar's yellow eyes blazed with rage and humiliation. His mighty fleet, which had been confident of easy victory against primitive humans, was being defeated by forces he had never imagined could exist. Never. The hegemony does not surrender to anyone. But even as he spoke, Veltar knew the battle was lost. Some of his ship commanders were already powering down their weapons and signaling surrender. Others tried to flee, only to discover that human ships were faster and could easily catch them. There was no escape from the human trap. Captain Wu Jin's voice came over the communication system, calm and professional. "Attention, alien fleet. You have entered human territory without permission and attacked a human installation. Surrender immediately, and you will be treated according to galactic conventions. Continue fighting, and you will be destroyed." The message was clear and simple. The humans had demonstrated overwhelming superiority in every aspect of combat. The aliens could surrender and live, or they could continue fighting and die. For most of the alien fleet, the choice was obvious. The age of alien dominance over humanity was ending, and the aliens were beginning to understand that they had awakened, something far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The silence that followed the human surrender demand was broken only by the sound of damaged alien ships drifting through space. Of Admiral Veltar's original fleet of 200 warships, fewer than 50 remained capable of fighting. Most of those were badly damaged and surrounded by human forces that could destroy them at any moment. Admiral Shung Huan, commanding the human battle group from his flagship Retribution, opened a communication channel to the surviving alien ships. His voice was calm and professional, showing no emotion despite the complete victory his forces had achieved. "Alien commanders, you have 60 seconds to signal your surrender," Shung Huan announced. "Power down your weapons, lower your shields, and prepare for boarding. This is your only opportunity to save the lives of your crews." Throughout the scattered alien fleet, ship commanders faced an impossible choice. Their proud military forces had been defeated completely by an enemy they had thought was primitive and weak. Some commanders, understanding the hopelessness of their situation, began powering down their weapons and signaling surrender. But others could not accept defeat at the hands of humans. Admiral Veltar's voice crackled over the alien communication system, filled with rage and humiliation. "I will never surrender to these primitive creatures. All ships that still have fight in them, follow me. We will show them that the hegemony does not bow to anyone." About 15 alien ships broke formation and followed Veltar toward what they hoped would be an escape route at the edge of human territory. They pushed their engines to maximum power, desperately trying to reach the border before human forces could stop them. Captain Yuna received the order to intercept the fleeing aliens from her position aboard the advanced fighter carrier Vengeance. Her squadron of human fighters had been waiting for exactly this situation. "All fighters, launch immediately," she commanded. "Do not let any alien ship leave human territory without permission." The human fighters that launched from hidden bases throughout the asteroid belt were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. They moved through space with impossible speed and agility, their advanced engines leaving trails of blue light as they pursued the fleeing alien ships. Each fighter was equipped with weapon systems that could disable or destroy vessels many times their size. "This is impossible," muttered the pilot of a Zephyrian escape ship as he watched human fighters close in on his position. No fighter should be able to match the speed of a heavy cruiser. But human technology had advanced far beyond alien understanding. The fighters used gravitational manipulation engines that allowed them to accelerate and turn in ways that violated what aliens thought were the basic laws of physics. Within minutes, the fleeing alien ships found themselves surrounded by human fighters that danced around them like deadly insects. Admiral Veltar watched his escape attempt fail as human fighters systematically disabled his remaining ships. His own flagship was surrounded by at least 20 human fighters, each one capable of destroying him if he made any aggressive moves. "How?" he whispered to himself. "How did a primitive species develop such advanced technology?" The answer to his question was being explained to captured alien officers by General Sunmi in the interrogation facility deep within the Kepler installation. The aliens who had been taken prisoner were learning the truth about humanity, and that truth was more shocking than anything they had imagined. "You made a fundamental mistake about human civilization," General Sunmi told a group of alien commanders who sat in comfortable chairs, looking confused and defeated. "You assumed that because we seem to be a young spacefaring species, we must be primitive and weak. The truth is quite different." Commander Hyunwoo activated a large display screen that showed a timeline of human development. The information it contained made the alien prisoners stare in disbelief. "Humans have been aware of alien civilizations for over 300 years, General Sunmi continued. "We have been monitoring your communications, studying your technology, and learning about your cultures since before most of your current governments existed. The restricted zone around human territory was not created to keep us isolated. It was created to keep you out until we decided what to do with you." One of the captured Kethmori commanders leaned forward in his chair. "That is impossible. Our intelligence services would have detected human infiltration of our worlds." "Would they?" General Sunmi asked with a slight smile. "Commander Hyunwoo, show them the intelligence files." The display screen filled with detailed information about alien military capabilities, political structures, and technological developments. The data was so complete and accurate that it could only have come from observers who had been living among alien populations for decades. "We have been watching you, learning from you, and preparing for this day," General Sunmi explained. "While your civilizations fought wars against each other and remained at roughly the same technological level for centuries, we advanced our science and engineering far beyond anything you thought possible." Dr. Charon entered the interrogation, room carrying several devices that demonstrated human scientific achievements. The first was a small communication device that could send messages instantly across galactic distances. The second was a matter manipulator that could transform one element into another at the molecular level. The third was a dimensional storage unit that could hold objects much larger than its outside appearance suggested. "These are just simple examples of human technology," Dr. Charon said, as the alien prisoners examined the devices with growing amazement. "We have achieved faster-than-light communication, matter manipulation at the quantum level, and dimensional engineering that allows us to create spaces larger on the inside than the outside." The aliens passed the human devices between them, their scanning instruments unable to understand how any of the technology worked. Everything they were seeing violated their understanding of what was scientifically possible. "Why?" asked a Mindari, collective representative, speaking for the first time. "Why did you remain hidden for so long? Why did you not reveal your capabilities to the galactic community?" General Sunmi considered the question carefully before answering. "Because we were not ready to assume the responsibilities that would come with our technological superiority. We needed time to study galactic civilization, to understand the various species and their motivations, and to decide what kind of role humanity should play in the wider galaxy." "And what have you decided?" the Mindari asked. "That decision has been made for us," General Sunmi replied. "Your invasion of human territory has forced us to reveal ourselves. The galaxy will now learn that humans are not just another spacefaring species. We are the most advanced civilization in known space, and we will take our place accordingly." Major Changho entered the room with additional reports from the battle. "General, we have secured all remaining alien vessels. Total casualties include 47 destroyed ships and approximately 8,000 alien military personnel killed or wounded. Human casualties are minimal. 12 wounded, no deaths." The captured alien commanders listened to these numbers with growing despair. Their mighty fleet had been not just defeated, but utterly destroyed by human forces that had barely been scratched in return. The technological gap between their civilizations and humanity was so vast that the battle had been more like a training exercise than a real war. "What happens to us now?" asked Admiral Veltar, who had been brought to the interrogation facility after his capture. "You will be returned to your governments with a message from humanity," General Sunmi replied. "The age of alien dominance in this galaxy is ending. Humanity is taking its rightful place as the supreme power, and all other species will need us to adjust to this new reality." She activated one final display that showed the true size of human military forces. The aliens had fought what they thought was a major human fleet, but the screens revealed that they had encountered only a tiny border patrol. The real human military was vast, advanced, and ready to enforce humanity's will across the galaxy. "You will tell your leaders that cooperation with humanity will bring protection, prosperity, and advancement," General Sunmi said. "Resistance will bring only destruction. The choice is theirs to make." The message was clear, and the alien prisoners understood that everything they had known about galactic power was about to change forever. The space at the edge of human territory filled with light, as the largest fleet ever assembled emerged from faster-than-light travel. Thousands of human warships appeared in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor and weapons that made the defeated alien fleet look like ancient relics. At the center of this massive armada was the flagship Ascendant, a vessel so large and advanced that it dwarfed everything around it. Fleet Admiral Gunhu stood on the bridge of the Ascendant, watching his fleet deploy into combat positions. He was an older man with silver hair and eyes that had seen decades of preparation for this moment. Around him, his officers worked at stations filled with technology that existed nowhere else in the known galaxy. "Admiral," reported his communications officer, "we are receiving surrender signals from the remaining alien vessels. The battle appears to be over." Admiral Gunhu nodded. He had expected nothing less from the human forces that had engaged the alien invaders. The Border Patrol units had performed exactly as trained, demonstrating human superiority while keeping casualties to a minimum. Now it was time for the next phase of humanity's emergence. On the bridge of Admiral Veltar's captured flagship, the alien commander stared at the screens showing the human fleet. His forearms trembled as he tried to count the ships surrounding his position. There were so many human vessels that his computers could not provide an accurate total. "How many ships do they have?" he asked one of his officers in a voice barely above a whisper. "Our sensors detect at least 5,000 warships, Admiral," the officer replied. "But there may be more that we cannot see. Their stealth technology is beyond our ability to penetrate." Admiral Veltar closed his yellow eyes and felt the weight of complete defeat settle over him. His proud fleet had fought what he thought was the main human military force. Now he understood that they had encountered only a tiny border patrol. The true power of humanity was so vast that resistance seemed impossible. General Yerim appeared on communication screens throughout the galaxy as human signals reached every inhabited star system. She was a composed woman with intelligent eyes and a voice that carried absolute authority. Behind her, displays showed the human fleet and the defeated alien forces. "Citizens of the galaxy," General Yerim began. "This is General Yerim of the Human Defense Force. Today marks the end of one era and the beginning of another. For centuries, various alien species have claimed dominance over galactic civilization. That age is now over. The message was being broadcast on every communication frequency used by every known species, from the most advanced civilizations to the most primitive colonies. Everyone in the galaxy was hearing humanity's announcement. The fleet that invaded human territory today believed they were attacking a weak and primitive species." General Yerim continued. "They have learned the truth about humanity. We are not primitive. We are not weak. We have been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment for over 300 years. On worlds throughout the galaxy, alien governments and military leaders watched the broadcast with growing alarm. The images showed human technology and capabilities that seemed impossible, ships that moved faster than anything they had ever seen, weapons that penetrated shields like they did not exist, defensive systems that made human forces practically invulnerable. Captain Daehyun took command of the human fleet as it prepared to leave the restricted zone for the first time in 50 years. His ship, the Ascendant, would lead humanity's forces beyond their traditional borders and into the wider galaxy. The captain was young for such an important position, but he had trained his entire life for this responsibility. "All ships, prepare for departure," Captain Daehyun announced to his massive fleet. "We go now to establish humanity's place in galactic civilization. Every species will learn that a new power has emerged, and that power will bring order to the galaxy." The human fleet began moving away from their traditional territory, heading toward the central systems where the major alien governments maintained their capitals. Their departure marked the first time in 50 years that human military forces had operated beyond the restricted zone. Ambassador Hyejin had been chosen to establish diplomatic relations with the alien species. She was a skilled negotiator who understood both human capabilities and alien psychology. Her first task would be to meet with representatives of the major galactic powers and explain the new reality they all faced. "The rules of galactic civilization are changing," Ambassador Hyejin announced in her first diplomatic message to alien governments. "From this moment forward, no species may enter human territory without explicit invitation. No species may threaten human interests anywhere in the galaxy. No species may harm human allies or trading partners." The new protocols were simple and direct. Humanity would control galactic affairs, but they would do so fairly and efficiently. Species that cooperated with human authority would receive protection, advanced technology, and access to trade networks that would bring unprecedented prosperity. Humanity does not seek conquest for its own sake, Ambassador Hyegen explained to a gathering of alien diplomatic representatives. We seek order, progress, and peace throughout the galaxy. Under human guidance, wars between species will end. Technological advancement will accelerate. Resources will be distributed efficiently to ensure that no civilization lacks what it needs to thrive. But the message also contained a clear warning for those who might consider resistance. The fate of Admiral Veltar's fleet served as an example of what happened to those who challenged human authority. The defeated alien ships were being escorted to their home territories, carrying the message that defiance would result in swift and complete destruction. Admiral Veltar himself was brought before Captain Dahyun in the final scene of humanity's emergence. The alien commander was no longer the confident leader who had invaded human territory. His uniform was dirty, his weapons had been confiscated, and his yellow eyes showed the defeat of someone who had discovered that everything he believed was wrong. "You will return to your government with humanity's message," Captain Dahyun told the defeated admiral. "Tell them what you have seen here. Tell them about human technology and human capabilities. Make sure they understand that cooperation with humanity is the only path that leads to survival and prosperity." Admiral Veltar nodded slowly. He had no choice but to accept his role as humanity's messenger. His own people would need to hear the truth about what they faced, even if that truth was painful and frightening. "What about my crew?" Veltar asked. "What about the survivors from my fleet?" "They will be returned safely to their families," Captain Dahyun replied. "Humanity does not wage war against civilians or take revenge against defeated enemies. Your people will be treated fairly and given the chance to find their place in the new galactic order." The transport ship that carried Admiral Veltar and his surviving crew away from human territory was small and simple compared to the massive human fleet. As it departed, the alien admiral looked back through the viewports at the thousands of human warships that filled the space around them. He had come to human territory as the commander of what he thought was an overwhelming invasion force. He was leaving as the messenger of humanity's dominance, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. The age of alien supremacy was ending, and the age of humanity had begun. Behind him, the human fleet continued its advance into galactic space, ready to establish the new order that would bring peace and progress to all civilized worlds. The galaxy would never be the same, but under human guidance, it would be better than it had ever been before. The greatest power in galactic history had finally revealed itself, and the universe would learn to accept humanity's rightful place as the supreme authority among the stars.